In my hands, I hold the ashes. In my veins, black pitch runs. In my chest, a fire catches. In my way, the setting sun. Down clouds gather round me. Due northwest, the soul's bound, and I will go on head fair. There's a light yet to be found. Last pale light in the west. The last pale light in the west. And I ask for no redemption in this cold and barren place. Still I see a faint reflection, and so by it I got my way. Last pale light in the west. The last pale light in the west.
So Nova, back at the Boulder Inn, you're, obviously people there are a little freaked out about everything that's going on. A couple of them leave, head back to their homes. You think Bob doesn't? Bob stays with you. So it's you and Bob there right now. And Bob goes back and grabs a mop bucket and starts trying to clean up some of the mess. I mean, what are you doing?
I would say she's sort of calmed down at this point, and
Bob's your uncle.
So she's kind of sitting at the bar, just trying to calm herself down, breathing. She kind of looks around at the situation as well, and
the cook brings you out a shot of whiskey, by the way. Don't tell Teresa.
Thanks.
You look like you need this.
Yeah, I probably do. Except I lost whatever contents were in my stomach. Is there any way I could get some toast or something?
Yeah, about some ham and eggs. Sound good?
It sounds like
little
so
bacon
much
on
right
the side.
now. You know what? I'll take it with a side of toast.
Okay, I think I still got some apple pie left too. If you want some of that.
Let's just start small.
Okay.
Start small. Don't want to throw up again.
Goes back and starts making you some eggs and bacon, ham.
Really heavy stuff after losing the contents of your stomach. But that's okay. So she's just gonna slide the whiskey to the side for a second because she definitely doesn't want to take that on an empty stomach.
Yeah,
At this point, Bob is everybody's uncle.
So as Bob is cleaning up in around the pool table, and he just keeps looking at that pool table and shaking his head. Doesn't he's trying not to touch anything, but clean it up as best he can. You, as you're sitting there waiting for your eggs and your bacon and your ham, did you just take that? Did you just down that shot of whiskey?
No, she
Toss it
put
back.
it to the side for a minute
Okay, all right,
until she has something more substantial in her stomach.
all right. You happen to look out in front, and you see a Humvee pull up out in front of this place and stop. And with that, I'm going to go back over to the clinic.
All right.
Door.
I'll whistle for Rocky.
Okay, you whistle for Rocky, and Rocky comes up and kind of he whines a little bit,
I'll glance at him.
and then
it's all right.
bolts
What?
bolts into the building.
Oh, okay. We'll follow with this person, and when you walk into the clinic, it's been converted to like the hallway has been converted into like an entryway. There's a desk where a receptionist would sit if it was normal hours, and then there's two doors basically on either side. One side has kind of a sliding door that you can kind of push and it'll fold back or forth. The other one actually has a doorknob on it. He motions towards the sliding door, and that goes back into a treatment area that looks somewhat similar to what I'm sitting in right now.
So Teresa's helping you carry this guy, I take it. And Astrid, did you put your take the helmet off while you're driving and put it back on when you're done driving, or?
I took it off and I left it off because it was impeding my field of vision, and we're going into an unknown area. I wanted to be able to be sure to see everything I possibly could, because we're potentially walking into a very dangerous situation.
Andrew, the veterinarian, is just carting this guy right in, whistling for this Rick person.
Are we hearing anything? Are we hearing Officer or Deputy Rick answer back, or?
Nope.
That Andy will point to the door with a doorknob, and he'll be like, "That's my living area. That's where Deputy Williams was. I'm just gonna get this guy into the treatment area, which is over here on the right side."
Okay. Do you have an X-ray? We need to get an X-ray of where he was shot.
I sure do.
And
Digital.
As we're taking him into the treatment area, I'll say, "Doc, he's still got a bullet in him." And so he probably has internal bleeding at this point.
Yeah, I'm gonna look at her and say, yeah, we kind of need to know where the bullet is to see if it nicked anything, because if we can just sew him up and give him antibiotics, great. But if it nicked something that is going to continue to bleed internally, we're going to have to go in and do like full-on surgery.
Okay, what are you guys doing?
I'm moving him into the treatment area.
So I'll help the doc get him on the table and everything, and then I will step back and say, "Hey, Doc, I'm going to go look for Rick. See if he's okay."
Okay, be careful.
Why? Why, Doc? It's just Rick.
I understand, but she's saying some weird shit. And I suppose she's sitting right there. I'm like, sorry, but you're saying some crazy shit. Just until we get a handle of what's going on, Just be careful.
Honestly, Dr. Andy, does your living quarters lock from the outside?
Yes.
Maybe once we get this guy settled, we can go check it out. We should just lock that door.
Okay.
So I'll lean in to Andy. I said, "Don't worry, just watch yourself around her. I'll go take a look and look for Rick, see if he's okay."
And he just nods. He doesn't respond.
And I'll look at Astrid and just worry about getting that guy saved. He's near death right now. I'll go look for Rick, and I will head towards the door. As I get to the door, I'll turn and say, "You really don't need that. Put it away now." Pointing towards the gun.
Can you check on Rocky while you're out there too?
And I'll nod. I'll nod to the doc. Say, "I'll do that."
Yeah, the dog is actually standing at the door, sitting there. It's like set down, just tongue kind of lolling a little bit, just panting, looking at the door.
That's not creepy. That's not creepy at all.
No, not at all.
I'm gonna look at Astrid. What do you want me to call you? Do you have a name?
I'm Astrid.
Okay, Astrid. Can you help me get him over by the X-ray?
Yeah, and I'm gonna help him move the guy so we can get this X-ray taken care of. Do
All
you
right, so-
have any sort of IV supplies and bags of normal saline? I mean, if you're doing surgery
Yes.
on animals, you got to have something that we can use.
100%. You want me to start a drip?
Yes, just
Okay.
run normal saline wide open.
I'll get that. You want to start the X-ray later?
Give me a medicine roll.
Okay.
You seem to be holding it together, brother.
Okay. I'll set up the IV. Probably add you want an antibiotic in this?
Yeah.
Okay. I'm not trying to tell you how to do your job.
No, I just didn't know what you had available, so.
I got pretty much everything you probably use in normal hospitals. We just do all the lab work here.
All right, something broad spectrum.
Okay.
And I'm going to assume that there's no human blood that we could use for infusions.
Just mine.
Yeah, I would probably advise against that in this very moment, since
So
we
I
don't know this
I
guy's
don't-
blood type.
I don't want his blood, but you can take mine if it. I'm O.
We don't know what his blood type is. Let's see what the X-ray says. See what we can do for him. At the very least, we can make him comfortable until he passes.
You just got incredibly lucky, and Andy is O negative.
I am. I am a universal donor.
He might need Andy's blood later for someone that who's more likely to be able to be saved. So we'll just
Jeez, you
clock
gave up
that
on
back
this
in our
guy
brains.
already? Holy cow!
I've not, but also I don't
I
need
need a
Andy weak if
phlebotomist.
we've got if we have Officer Rick that we're going to have to fight. We don't need to be pulling Andy out because he's lightheaded because we've taken some of his blood.
Well, let's see what Teresa decides to do. So Teresa, you got the dog sitting there in front of the door, and it just kind of panting. When the dog notices you coming up behind it, it kind of does a little double take, looking at you, and lifts its paw up and kind of scratches at the door.
And I'll just kind of reach down, smile, pat him behind the ears a little bit, say, he's behind the door, huh, boy? And so I will go ahead and open up the door.
You move up to the door, and the dog gets up on all fours at immediately at attention. Ears back, looking at that door.
Okay. So I will pause for a second, and I'll look at him. Everything all right, boy?
Gives a little whine.
I'll just kind of. All right. You want to see Rick too, don't you, boy?
Just kind of looks at you.
So I'll just kind of start to turn and open the door then. slowly.
Okay, you open the door. We're going to jump back over to Dr. Andy and Astrid.
I'm gonna look at the X-rays and
Definitely has a
see that
bullet in him.
right. Do we think that it nicked anything that we're gonna have to go in there and?
As far as there is some internal bleeding, but it doesn't. I mean, this guy's lost a lot of blood, so.
I'm gonna look at Dr. Andy and let him know that, because of the blood loss, at some point, even if we get the bleeding stopped, there's not a good chance that he's going to survive.
I mean, I can give him some of my blood if you think it can help.
Even with that, with the limited amount of medical supplies and operating tools that we have for a human, I don't know that he would even make it then. Cutting him open isn't going to do literally anything without having all of the things that we really need in order to save his life.
Should we at least try? I mean, if what you're telling, so here's the deal, Astrid. Uh, you're telling me some crazy stuff here. What I saw is you stabbed a lady in the head. This guy isn't bit. If you keep saying it's like a bite, like almost like rabies, this guy isn't bitten, so he's not infected. Clearly, of whatever you're talking about. I feel like so he doesn't make it. We should at least try. I've got all of the tools you need. If you need blood, I can give it. But what does he have to lose at this point?
All right.
I mean, the two of us, I'll be your nurse.
All right. Well, get a surgical kit over here. Let's see what we can do for him.
All right. Dr. Andy will grab scrubs, tools, everything. Actually, it's very organized, like OCD in here. You can even see like the shelves are just labeled with everything alphabetically where you would need them. It's very quick for him to just grab the stuff, roll them out on trays, and set it up. There's intubation, there's everything. Like machines, he hooks it up. I'm going to start oxygen for him.
All right. Well, let's get this show on the road. We'll see what we can do. First, I'm gonna have Dr. Andy I'm gonna draw some of Dr. Andy's blood and put it into an IV bag, simply because I don't want Dr. Andy directly hooked up to this guy for a direct blood transfusion. That just feels like a bad idea.
All right.
I concur.
Teresa. It's kind of dark in there. The dog heads right in.
Okay. I will slowly enter and just kind of try and feel for the light switch, see if I can feel it and turn it on.
Okay.
Not moving too far into the room because I don't think I've ever been to the doc's house before. So
Yep.
I'm just trying to get enough light to where I can see what's going on.
So you're looking at a living room.
Mm-hmm.
All right. Looks like off to your right is like a kitchen dining space towards the front of the house. This area is set up as like a living space, like a living room. So you see some nice. He's got some nice furniture. I mean, he obviously wasn't necessarily a poor veterinarian. You see pictures, different certification, so his veterinary stuff and schooling and whatnot. Looks like he went to school overseas. The dog actually went to the left. It looks like there's the bedroom and whatnot is back there.
Okay. So naturally I'll follow the dog,
Okay.
but also put, just before I do, I'll kind of push the dimmer up to make the lights brighter.
Okay.
And then I'll just obviously follow the dog because Rocky, he's gonna know where Rick is.
So you get back to what you presume is the bedroom. It's where the dog went. And you hear the dog licking something.
Okay. I'll kind of just walk in, kind of looking at Rocky. Hey, what are you doing, boy? And try and see what he's licking.
Teresa? Teresa, is that you?
Rick, that you?
Yeah.
And I'll just kind of move closer up. You okay?
What are you doing here?
Some guy hit the inn. He's in bad shape at the dock, and somebody else is working on him right now. Are you feeling okay? The doc said you weren't feeling good.
Yeah, no, I'm not. Crazy shit.
What's going on, man? This gal shows up in a hazmat suit. I know I haven't been paying attention to the news, but what's going on, Rick?
Look, you stay away from those people. Okay, don't
From who,
trust.
Rick?
Just listen to me. Don't trust anybody. Definitely not anybody from the government, or if they say they're from the government, you don't trust them. Okay?
Rick, I've spent the last 8 years, almost 9 years working for the government. Don't trust who?
Don't trust the military. Don't trust nobody.
Why, Rick?
Who's this?
And I'll get closer to Rick and grab his hand.
Well, you can, and his hand is bandaged. So right hand
Okay.
bandaged up. You can tell that's where the dog was licking. There's some blood on his fingers. Obviously has some sort of injury. His skin feels kind of clammy, sweaty, hot, like really hot. Got sweat on his face. I mean, he is definitely very feverish.
Okay. I'll look around. I go, Rick, you're not okay. And look around for something to help, kind of clean up the hand a bit. Maybe, do you need some water, Rick? I'll go grab some ice water for you. You're burning up.
Yeah, water would be good. Water.
All right. And
He's just sitting on the bed, sitting on the edge of the bed. You can tell it's Andy's bedroom because everything's meticulous. The bed is completely made and corners tucked in and the whole deal, like a 5-star motel.
Rick, let's get you to lay down here. You're not feeling good, so I'll move over first. I'll get you some water. Let's just get you down so you can rest, okay?
Yeah, that sounds good.
I'll help him kind of lay down, get comfortable. If he's got his belt on or anything, I'll kind of get it off of him.
Oh, yeah.
Get him down just to at least his clothes.
Got his belt on, 9mm. I mean, he's actually has a Kevlar vest. I mean, he's fully outfitted.
Yeah, I'll help him take the vest off. Get his belt off. Get him as comfortable as possible. Get him, under the covers and say, just wait here. I'll go get some water for you, okay?
Okay. And there's power here, surprisingly. Just like the inn has its own power source. Andy has his own power source. So you see that there's, double door refrigerator. You got a little thing there with the ice and water.
So I'll go up and get, some ice. Go find a glass, get some ice, get some ice water in it for him. Then I'll kind of make my way back over to him and back in. Hey, Rick, I've got that ice water for you. Come on.
And jump back over to Desert Colors, Humvee, definitely military. People step out of it, full camouflage, flak gear.
She just kind of looks out at this group of individuals that have just come up, and she's like, "God damn it, what now?" And she's gonna kind of look at Bob and kind of motion to the door, see what his reaction is.
So Bob walks over and locks the door.
She's like, I didn't mean, okay. Well, I mean, we don't want them breaking in the door, so if they want to come in, you should probably unlock it.
He grabs the little sign. There's this little sign kind of hanging on a triangle thing. And it says closed on the backside. He flips it over so it says open on there now.
And she's like, they probably saw us, man. Like, there's no use in trying to hide.
You
at
think?
this point.
I ain't trying to hide.
Why are you locking
closed.
the door?
Because they might be, they might think we're infected, or they might be infected.
What? Oh, okay. Well,
Look, young lady.
Kinda...
These, I don't like any of this, and I don't know who them people are, and I don't want to talk to them. You want to talk to them, you go on out there and talk to them. Teresa, have any weapons here? Do you have a weapon?
Not on me.
What does that mean? It means you have one, but just not with you?
It means I have a knife, but that's about it. But it's back in my room.
Just go look behind the bar. Ask Fred.
You ask Fred and look behind the bar. And Nova's actually gonna walk towards the door and unlock it and open it and then close it behind her.
Okay. So you're outside now. And with that, I'm going to jump back over to the doctors.
Well, one thing I want to mention, when Astrid hooks him up to take blood from his arm, she does notice there are some needle marks, and one of them is fairly fresh. Probably, I mean, you would know probably within a few days, maybe even earlier, but just something of note. You notice them when you go to draw. He doesn't think anything of it, but you would see it. Other than that, I'll be giving blood and trying to set everything up. So I've got oxygen on him. I've got anesthesia set up. I'm, working with one hand while she's draining me, filling a bag.
Yep, and I'm gonna basically start kind of doing surgery to try to remove the bullet and see if there's anything that needs to be cauterized or stitched up on the inside here.
So you actually managed to, you're pretty sure that you stabilize him with the blood from Andy. He still has a pulse.
All right. So I am going to go hunt up a glass of water for Andy because he's, been giving blood and he needs to replenish some of that, maybe some orange juice or something. I'm going to ask him if he has any.
Yeah, I've got a sink right here, right in the treatment area.
How about some juice or something? Maybe that would probably be better.
Yeah, there's some apple juice in there.
Okay. So I'm going to run and grab him some juice, make sure he's sitting down and tell him, keep an eye on our patient here. He should be okay, but you need to rest.
I'll just keep him on the respirator, the air, and I'll just make sure. I suppose we can end anesthesia at this point then.
I don't know, maybe keeping him under would be a good idea so he doesn't get up and struggle. I mean, we know that he's controlled now and won't be struggling or trying to get up, so maybe until he's more stable than he is now, and then we
Okay.
can wean him off the anesthesia?
Yeah, you know best. I'll sit here and just monitor his breathing while I rest.
Becomes a flat line.
Shit.
I'm gonna look at Andy. Do you have epi?
Yes. I'll run and grab it. Hand it
Okay.
to her.
All right, I'm gonna start compressions because Andy is in no shape to be doing compressions.
I have a bag I can breathe. Well, he's hooked up to the. Obviously, he's getting breath anyway, so I don't have to bag him. I'll just make sure I'm holding it while you're pushing it, so the mask doesn't fall off his face.
Okay. I'm gonna, basically run a code on this guy. Are we having any success resuscitating him? Do you have a defibrillator?
I do in the front of the clinic, but obviously not for animals. There's an AED in the front.
All right, go grab the AED.
Okay.
And I'm gonna continue compressions.
All right.
Following your standard AHS CPR courses, I'm going to check every once in a while to see if he's got a pulse until the AED gets there. Does he ever?
You fight with this for a while, Astrid, but it would appear that it's a lost cause.
At that point, I run in with the AED. I got it.
I don't think it's going to do any good. I think he's gone. Because if you put the AED on somebody who's flatlined, it's going to tell you not to shock and to continue compressions. So we could be doing compressions till the end of time.
Want me to put it on just to see what it says?
Sure.
Okay. I'll put the pads on, one up in the chest, one down low, and then turn it on, and it'll fire up and stand clear. And then does it say shock advised, or does it say continue?
I would say
It-
it would say
Go ahead.
continue compressions if he's flatlining.
Yeah.
Okay. No shock advised.
Right.
Okay. And Andy just lets out a deep sigh and drops his head. He's not used to seeing humans die. Obviously, it's one thing putting animals down, and
On Teresa, you take the water back in the room. When you get back in there, Rick's passed out. He's asleep.
Okay. I'll just kind of give a wry smile, kind of shake my head, and put the glass water kind of on the dresser. Gingerly blot his, grab a towel, take the sweat off of him.
When you're
and look around.
You're trying to dab the sweat off of him, and the heat just radiates from him. I mean, he is hot, burning up.
Okay. Which is obviously very concerning. So I'll take a look at the bandages.
Okay.
That on his arm, on his hand, make sure they're nice and tight. If they're, they're loose. That's where he was supposedly bitten or scratched. Even though the doc said that he took care of it, I'm still going to give it the once over and take a look at it.
Okay.
Make sure everything's okay. And then once I do look at those bandages, just make sure they're nice and tight, they're well. I'm a little bit concerned about the heat, so I'm gonna just look around, see Rocky on the bed, and then I'm just gonna go. I need to go get the doctor, because Andy obviously something else is wrong. Didn't take care of it, whatever it is. So maybe the doctor will have, something more. So I'll walk out of the room, with a little, quickly, but not too quickly, and just make my way back towards the clinic.
Basically walking in as they're deciding to give up.
Okay. I'll just kind of just frown. Say, didn't make it, huh?
We did everything that we could.
I'll just kind of nod. I'm pretty sure you did. Hey, Doc, can you take a look at Rick? He is burning up. I have never seen somebody with a fever I've never seen somebody as hot as him.
Maybe-
This might get bad for him.
You see, Andy's actually just crying right now. Like he's just bawling. He looks to Astrid with like pleading eyes. He's like, "Can you take a look? You seem more familiar with this than I do." And he literally lays his head on this man's chest and just sobs.
So I'm going to put a hand on Dr. Andy's shoulder and say, let's leave this gentleman here. You go sit in the waiting room and we'll go take a look at Deputy Rick.
All right, just I don't want to leave him alone right now. I'll stay with him just for a little bit, and then I'll go.
All right. Okay. Let's go see what we can do for Rick.
I'll lead Astrid into the living area and say, Rick's over in the bedroom. I'm going to get some more ice for him because he'll probably need it. And I will head into the kitchen and grab, find some Ziploc bags or something like that and start filling them with ice.
Okay. I'm going to slowly approach Rick and can I hear him breathing?
Yeah. Yeah, it's kind of a hoarse, labored breath, but you can hear him breathing.
Okay. I'm going to go up and feel for a pulse and kind of feel his forehead and see like how hot he is.
Well, when you get close to him, you can feel the heat coming off of him. When you feel for his pulse, I mean, his skin is clammy from the sweat and hot. I mean, his skin is literally hot, like he just has been laying under an electric blanket on high all day long.
Okay.
Forehead covered and just slimy with sweat.
All right. I am going to go back into the clinic to get some IV fluids and some antibiotics. Just hoping that this isn't what I suspect that it is, because I know that Dr. Andy said that he'd either been bitten or scratched. And hoping that maybe it's just a really bad infection that's gotten out of the way and he's septic.
I'll fill a couple of Ziploc bags with ice, and I probably end up passing Astrid as she is bleeding out of the room as I'm holding 2 bags of ice and walk in, immediately trying to maybe putting one bag on top of his head, maybe another like at the base of his neck, trying to help keep him cool.
So I'm gonna head into the clinic and kind of peek and see if Dr. Andy is still with the gentleman that we just tried to save.
Right before you walk in the room, you can hear faintly. He seems to be slowly pulling it together, but you can hear him talking. I'm sorry. I'm so sorry. I couldn't save you. I'm sorry. And then he hears you as you approach, and he kind of sits up stands up slowly, looks at you, and says, "How can I help?"
We need IV fluids and antibiotics for Deputy Rick. He's running a hell of a fever. Any temperature monitoring things that you have, and I'm gonna start kind of disconnecting this fellow from like the blood pressure monitoring, like all of the monitoring machines that we had him hooked to,
Mm-hmm.
so I can take it across the hall for Officer Rick so we can keep an eye on him because he's obviously not doing well.
Okay. He gets up, he starts grabbing things, throws it into. Basically, he's got a platter like that. He can tray that he's putting everything on, and then he'll grab one of the machines. They're on wheels, so that you can move them
Mhm.
around. He'll grab the heart monitor. If you grab the other machine, and he'll just start rolling it into the back room.
Okay.
Well, you're just remembering the fact. I mean, Andy or Rick's been he's been the nice guy to you. He just asked you out to dinner
Yeah.
like last week, and
Yeah, so I am trying to be, very kind of, tender in the care that I am giving him, just kind of brushing his hair back, kind of, saying, "Hey, come on, you can pull through this." Just kind of talking to him, you know, "Don't leave me here." You know, "Don't don't don't do this to me. I've seen a lot of people go, but don't do this to me. I can't handle it anymore. I've lost too many men under me. Don't."
you guys come in basically as that's happening. So
Astra's gonna pretend like she saw literally nothing of any of that because it's not her business. She's just here to see if she can help this guy and kind of feeling in her heart that she's not gonna be able to, but also knowing that if she doesn't at least give it a shot, that none of these people will ever trust her because she stabbed somebody in the ear. So, she's gonna start the IV, get IV fluids going, get some antibiotics going, and we're gonna get him hooked up to, like, the blood pressure pump cuff and all of that kinda stuff.
okay, all right. And Andrew, what are you doing?
Just helping. Dr. Andy will help out with whatever, helping her set up things. She'll probably need a bigger cuff because his are smaller. So he'll go get one he uses for larger animals. Probably dog and cat aren't going to cover it. He wouldn't have thought about that at the time. So he'll run and get that.
Okay.
And then just keep bringing any supplies or anything she needs.
As that's happening, I'll just look up at Astrid and ask, "Hey, is there anything I can do?"
Just talk to him.
So I'll just nod and just kinda go back to what I was doing. You just, brushing his hair kinda and, um, like, dabbing the sweat off of his brow, face, whatnot. Say, "Hey, I'm here. Come back to us. Come back to me."
No response right now. He's basically passed out.
Uh, Dr. Astrid. And
Yes.
he motions over by Rick and he shows her the wound that looks like a bite and shows it to her.
Okay.
It's a human bite.
And then Dr. Andy looks up at her to make eye contact and just kind of waits for a response, like how when she sees it.
Astrid's gonna look at the bite and look at Dr. Andy and just kind of shake her head and kind of motion to have him make sure that one of us is watching that heart monitor.
And he nods and just lets out a deep sigh.
These guys are acting kind of funny about that injury on Rick's hand, Teresa.
I, I'll notice that and kinda I'm gonna start paying more attention to Astrid because I'm not liking the way this is going, and I'm gonna look at Doc and say, "Hey, you okay?" Is Rick going to be okay?
Andy slowly looks over at Teresa. I don't know. I honestly don't know, Teresa.
I'll just kind of purse my lips, and at this point, I need a drink, kind of. So I'm gonna reach up with my bandage hand for the water, and I'm just gonna take, the water that I set on the glass, and I'm gonna take a drink, and then I'm just gonna, while I'm continuing to take care of Rick, I'm gonna continue to watch Astrid like a hawk. I don't trust her at this point, especially with what I'm seeing. Hey, Doc, where do you keep your linen? Because this one's soaked.
Just
But
go down the hall, take a right. The bathroom's over there under the sink, and
well, no,
I'll wait for Teresa to leave.
Okay.
so I'll
Uh,
walk out and head towards the linen closet.
and at that point, I will remove Deputy Rick's handcuffs, and I'll put them on him, and then cover him with the blanket.
Okay.
And I'll just wait because I want to see. Like Andy's, he doesn't know, but he's like, okay, if what she's saying is true, and this is like rabies, where it's some kind of mutated rabies virus that causes a fever, results in death-like. I mean, he doesn't believe they're dead if they're moving, but death-like symptoms. Uh, and I'll just, but I'm gonna put him in the handcuffs just because. Well, we saw what happened, with the other person, so
Okay.
it's not gonna hurt him being in handcuffs.
Wow.
But
You're drinking the Kool-Aid now, sounds like.
I mean, I'm seeing things. I'm seeing things with my own eyes that are matching up to what she's saying, and if what she's saying is true, I'm about to witness it. And if I'm wrong, then I'll be happy. But if she's right, then there's not going to be much doubt that what she's talking about is valid.
Okay. Astrid, what are you doing?
Every once in a while, I'm going to go kind of peek in the surgery area and make sure that the dead guy's still dead on the table.
Yep. He's still dead
and
on the
just-
table. Yep.
I mean, and then go back in and kind of monitor Rick, but I want to give Dr. Andy and Teresa time to kind of mull over the situation and maybe come to the realization that Rick probably isn't going to make it. I'm going to pull Teresa over. I'm going to catch her when she's coming back with the linens. I don't think that things are looking very good for the deputy.
I'm gonna look at her, and I'm just gonna say, I don't know what you're saying. He has a fever. He should be able to get over it with this. It's just a fever. I understand why the other guy didn't make it. God, he was shot, and he crashed into the inn. So, I mean, Rick's gonna pull through. Trust me on that.
And I'm just going to look at her and say, Dr. Andy and I will do everything that we can. I just want you to brace yourself because it is possible with a fever that high that he won't pull through. And I just want you to be aware of that. I don't want to lie to you and tell you everything's going to be fine because I don't know.
And then what I will do is, with my bandaged hand, I'll poke her in the chest. Just like you knew what happened to that woman in the parking lot.
I'm not going to
What
fight
was
with you
that?
about that right now. Do you want to have this
You want me to
conversation with
trust
me
you?
right now? Or do you want to go spend some time with Officer Rick, who at this point is kind of on
I
the
would
razor's
rather
edge?
be at Rick's side helping him right now. But you're
Then
telling me
go.
he will not make it.
I am, because I want you to be aware of that. Dr. Andy and I are doing everything that we can, but we have to be realistic. We're doing literally everything that we could possibly do for him right now, and his fever is not breaking.
Fevers take time. I've seen soldiers pull through them. He will make it through. And I will turn and continue walking through and just say, as it is, I do not trust you.
Hester's just gonna shrug and kind of walk back over to the surgery suite to double check the situation in there.
Okay.
As I walk into the room, the bedroom with Rick, I'm going to kind of take his belt. I'm just gonna kind of move it along the floor towards me.
So you're taking the gun out of his belt then?
No,
No.
I'll leave it in the belt. I will knock it so that it is,
Okay.
so that it's unclipped, so it's easy to get to. But I'll
Okay.
still leave it in the belt at this time. I just want to put it to where I can get to it easily.
All right.
Do I notice this happening?
Well, you're right there, man. So it's kind of hard not to notice.
Yeah, Teresa trusts Andy.
I will.
Doc Andy, but he doesn't
I'll-
trust Astrid. Yeah.
I will put my hand on Teresa's shoulder and give her a squeeze, and then I will reach down, draw his firearm out of the holster, and just tuck it into the front of my pants, and then cover it with my shirt, and nod to her.
Doc, I don't trust her. I don't trust her one bit. You saw what she did to that poor gal in the parking lot.
Teresa, I did, but I can see what she's saying, and I'm seeing things with my own eyes. I am gonna wait to the very last minute with Rick. He is my friend. He's probably one of my only friends other than you. But if there's truth, it's going to be pretty obvious shortly. And I think just watching Rocky's reaction will be all the proof you and I will need.
Andy,
Teresa,
I
trust
won't
me.
shoot her immediately. I can handle myself. Okay.
Okay,
But
Teresa.
I don't trust her at all. God damn it. I've only been here 6 months, and you and Rick have been the only ones who have been the most welcoming. Okay?
Listen,
I understand that. I can't lose Rick. I've lost too many already in that damn war over in the Middle East.
okay, Teresa.
All right?
I'm going to do everything I can. You know me. I'm going to do everything I can to save Rick's life. But if he dies, or he turns into this like raving lunatic thing, like that woman, she says.
That woman was just in shock.
I
She was
don't
wandering around.
I don't disagree
And
with
she
you.
killed him.
Yes, and I
Or
don't
killed
disagree
her.
with you. But it's a coincidence that that lady was bit, and she's talking about bites, and he came in with a bite from some freaking crazy person. He said,
It could have been from a dog.
No, he said it was a person. He said some fucking asshole bit him. So it's just I don't know what to believe, but let's just play it safe until we know. I'm not going to let her hurt Rick unless there's no other choice.
Teresa's kind of beside herself, just kind of she stops for a moment and just kind of like you can see the emotion welling up inside of her and just kind of like fine. And so then she turns and goes back to Rick, taking care of him, and starts just kind of stay with me, bud, stay with me.
Nova. There are 4 of them, 2 on each side of the vehicle. They have masks on, rebreathers. They're fully armed, and one of the soldiers points his gun at you and says, "Stay right there."
Nova kind of puts her hands up and says, "Please tell me this is over. Is this all over?"
We just need some supplies.
She kind of raises her eyebrow and says, "Excuse me? Supplies?"
One of the other ones kind of walks around the vehicle. He's like, "Hey, don't worry. It'll all be over soon. We need some supplies because we have to make a trip here. We just need to pick up a few things. And we need some gas."
But you're the military. Why do you need supplies from us?
Look, we just need a few things. You don't have any infected in there, do you?
No.
Are you sure? Nobody's bit or anything like that?
Her eyes kind of glance over to the dead body under the tarp.
Well,
She
and this guy's head kind of follows your eyes.
And she kind of stutters for a minute. She says, we think, it's kind of weighing her options here. And then she just says, "Not anymore."
Do you have any weapons?
Nope.
All right, look, lady. We're going to step inside the building. You're going to stay right there.
I think you need to tell me who you're with first.
We don't need to tell you anything. Get on your knees. Get on your knees. And he points. You got 2 of them pointing their weapons at you. Don't resist.
Kind of stands there for a minute.
Down on your knees now. Hands behind your head.
Are you with the National Guard? Are you with the Army? Who are you with?
One of them's kind of walking up on you.
She stands her ground, waiting for them to answer.
All right.
Oh, no.
And well, he is going to attempt to crack you right in the face with the butt of his gun.
Lovely.
So, go ahead and run close combat.
Can I argue for agility?
Okay. All right, so this guy tries to use the butt of his gun to knock you, and you do what? Tell us what that looks like.
She ducks out of the way while she falls to her knees. And she kind of holds up her hands and she's like, all right. No need for that.
He reaches out a hand and grabs the top of your head, the hair on the top of your head, digs his fingernails into it, and yanks your face forward to the ground.
She screams. She lets out a scream and she's like, what the fuck, man?
He twists.
I'm complying. What the hell? Just tell me who you're with.
He lets go of your hair, but he twists around, plants a knee right in the middle of your back, like between your shoulder blades, and brings both of your arms behind you with a zip tie.
Bob, 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 Bob.
I know, she's being loud on purpose.
Yeah, Bob, come on, Bob.
I told you not to resist. I don't want to have to be like this.
Starting to think you're not with the military, man. And if so, we're just
Look,
waiting for
look.
rescue.
Look, lady, there's no rescue coming. There's nothing. Just be quiet, okay? Just stay right here. Just be quiet. We'll take what we need and we'll leave, and you'll never see us again.
She lets out another yell.
Dr. Astrid,
Yes.
do you have any other thoughts? Any other thing you can think of we could try?
I really don't. We're doing everything we can. We're keeping him hydrated with the IV fluids. We're giving him antibiotics. If they're going to work, which I don't think they will, it usually takes 24 to 48 hours.
I mean, should we put him in an ice bath and try
As
to?
hot as he is, that's more likely to throw him into shock than it is to do anything good for him. I mean, we could try a lukewarm bath, but an ice bath is a terrible idea at this point.
You can
Um,
you can see that Andy's just like you can literally see the wheels turning in his head and struggling, trying to come up with something. Could we induce a coma? Put him in a coma?
While
I mean,
they're talking,
Okay.
I'm going to check his belt to see if he has a taser.
Yeah.
I will pull the taser out of his belt and kind of tuck it to hide it
Okay.
as I'm listening to this
They're
conversation.
not necessarily paying any attention to you, so I mean,
Yeah.
okay. You now have a taser.
yeah, because Astrid's racking her brain too. Like, she's really hoping that she's wrong and that it was all bullshit, but she doesn't think that it was. Or doing what we're doing and seeing no reaction, so it's worth a shot.
All right, let me go see what I have. I don't know if I have everything we're even gonna need. I don't keep that on hand. I'll be right back.
All right.
Dr. Andy walks off.
Okay. Where are you headed to, Andy?
I'm gonna go over to the treatment area. Start looking through. So he's not gonna have what he needs. It's just not something he would have.
Okay.
He's really, I mean, not gonna have it. It wouldn't be something that he would probably stock up on. What he
do you have to go back in the area where the where the body's at? Okay.
yeah, the dead guy. Yeah.
Oh.
So he'll walk in there. He'll start looking.
He's still
like I
there
said-
and he's still dead, by the way.
Okay, gotcha. Of course he is. I watched him die. Basically, we'll go through, look for stuff. In the end, he's gonna pretty much get a vial of blue liquid.
Mhm.
This is probably something that Dr. Astrid doesn't see because they don't use it in human medicine, but this is something that you put animals to sleep with.
Hey, by the way, Andy, when you're getting that put together, you go over by the cooler where you keep that stuff, and you see an open needle laying there. You know why it's there.
Yeah. He'll just kick it underneath, like just kick it, underneath the counter.
Okay.
He doesn't have to see it. And grab a couple vials syringe, and just put it in a little kit, and then he'll take it and then walk back.
Okay. Do you close and lock the door behind you, or
By habit, I mean, he wouldn't lock it.
just close it? Okay.
He's not in a habit of locking his, treatment door, but he'll shut it when he doesn't leave doors open.
All right. So Rick's a little restless at this point, Teresa.
Okay. I'll continue, just kind of trying to, get him comfortable. Continue talking to him. Trying to make him as comfortable as possible at this point. There's not much else I can do, and
he looks like he's kind of in and out of consciousness at this point. He's not like, completely passed out, but he opens his eyes and just kind of looks at you.
Okay. I'll kind of give him a little squeeze and say, "Hey, you're gonna make it through this. You'll make it through. Come on."
No, I'm not.
Yes, you will. Don't give me that. You're gonna make it through. I know you will. Don't leave me, okay? Besides, you gotta go on that date. Remember?
Yeah, I remember.
I don't want to lose you. You've been too nice to me. You've helped me out a lot. I mean, when I got the news that my aunt died, I was broken up. I had to leave my career behind and come here. You and the doc have been the only two here for me. I can't lose you.
Yeah, I'm. Yeah, he kind of reaches up and weakly grabs your arm. I'm not going.
Well,
I'm not going. Not going anywhere.
I'll just kind of, put my hand on top of his and just kind of, give him a squeeze. Kind of interlacing the fingers kind of thing. And good. Just hang in there. Doc's helping you. I'm here. You'll make it through.
Who's that other lady?
I'll lean in closer at this point and kind of say, I don't know. She's somebody come up. She appears to be another doctor, but an actual doctor. Doc Andy, he's just a vet, but she says she's a doctor. But I don't trust her. She killed a gal in the parking lot.
That suit she has on looks government issue to me.
It looks like a government issue chemical suit. I know. I understand. I've seen them plenty enough times, but
Teresa,
I don't know why she has it on. But
you listen to me.
What?
Don't trust them. Don't trust any of them.
Who, Rick? Who? As I'll just kind of brush, his hair out of the way, kind of thing,
Nobody. Don't trust anybody, especially not the government. Stay away from them. Just trust
She'll
them.
kind of
don't go near them.
She'll kind of give a little sigh and just rest, Rick.
There's no
Just
place.
rest.
He's kind of like fading at this point. There's no place safe. There's no place. They're gonna kill all of us.
Nobody's gonna kill us. I'm here.
He's out. Passed back out again.
I'll just sit there for a moment, holding his hand and kind of, just thinking about what he has said and everything. Um, kind of just visually playing through my mind what has all happened within the last 3 to 4 hours time, along with all of the strange things that have been happening up until now, specifically with how, the news and whatnot.
Okay.
Before I just, give his hand a final squeeze and then just kind of, gingerly lay it back down on him and go back to, wiping his brow, trying to keep him comfortable as possible.
Again, I'm kind of just giving them space. I can still hear like the monitors and stuff beeping, so I know that Deputy Andy is still alive, or his heart's still beating anyway.
Mhm.
So I'm just kind of giving the people that know him space to kind of maybe deal with the situation. I'm not listening into conversations because I just feel like that's kind of shady. And as an ER doc, that's something that I've learned how to do, is to not listen to private conversations between people when one of them is dying.
I'll walk up to her as I can hear the conversation between, that I can't really hear what they're saying, but Teresa and Rick. And I'll just I'll take the vial and show her the pentobarbital and the blue vial. I'm sure she knows what it is. And just say very softly to her, I'm not going to watch him suffer in pain.
You do realize if you do that and Teresa finds out, she'll never forgive you.
I think she'll understand if he's suffering. I don't know what's going to happen, but I'm not going to watch him suffer.
You know him. That's a decision that you have to make.
He doesn't deserve that. If this is gonna, do you know? You know what happens to them? Is it, if he goes, is it going to be excruciating pain, or what happens?
I don't know. I've never seen it, and I've only heard rumors.
Okay,
I do know with the fever that he's got right now, he's got to be in excruciating pain, but
he doesn't seem like it. I mean, he's unconscious now. Does he sound like he's still talking? Do we hear voices anymore, or is it quiet?
It's quiet back there now.
Teresa?
Doc, what do you need?
What's going on in there? Is he sleeping?
I'll check the ice and see that maybe, when time for new ice, and I'll just kind of walk out and just kind of, give the little, symbol, putting my finger up to my lips. He's sleeping again.
Okay.
He was awake for a while, but he's sleeping again. At least he was able to talk to me.
What did he
I
say?
think he'll pull through. He'll definitely pull through.
Okay.
I'm certain of it at this point. And he says not to trust anybody, but it's interesting.
He kind of glances at Astrid.
And I kind of I don't look at Astrid, but I'll just turn and go back into the kitchen and get some more ice at this point.
Okay. I'll move into the room then so I can keep an eye close on Rick.
All right, you move in. Where are you at, Astrid?
I'm gonna stay as far away from the whole situation with the drugs and the doc and the officer, as far away as I could possibly be, because I don't want Teresa thinking that I had anything to do with that situation. And I'm gonna go keep an eye on the dead body in the treatment room.
All right, you you go walking out to go check on the dead body, and as you're maybe 5 feet away from that door, and you hear something in that room. So on the other side of the door, you hear something clatter on the floor, like a pan or something knocked over.
All right. So I'm gonna kind of get my AR-15 ready. Hope that I'm wrong, and slowly push the door open.
Okay. You slowly push the door open.
Can I see anything as I kind of pop my head through the door?
I think that you left the lights on in there, right?
Yep.
Oh yeah.
So you see this guy standing next to the
Right.
table.
I'm gonna take aim with my AR-15, say a quick prayer, and try to shoot him in the head.
Andrew, Teresa, you suddenly hear a gunshot in the other room.
What the fuck? I'll run.
Okay.
I will definitely yeah, I'm gonna end up going as quickly as I can. I'm gonna pull the taser, or I'm gonna make sure the taser is easily accessible, so that I can pull it out and shoot it as needed. But I will get into
Okay.
I'll basically follow the dog.
All right. So you go running into the other room. And what do they see, Astrid?
So I'm standing in the doorway. I would still have the gun on and up and at the ready, because I'm not sure if I hit this guy or not, because I don't know that I'm that great a shot, but I would sort of be kind of shaking because I didn't think this fella had been bit, so I'm trying to understand what the hell is going on. Got a million thoughts running through my brain. I don't even realize that they have come into the room or are anywhere near me because I'm so zoned in on what's going on in front of me.
So you guys see this, and obviously kind of shaken Astrid, but I mean, gun barrel's got just a whiff of smoke coming out of it. And the body, I mean, she basically has just splatted its head. It is now on the floor, by the way. But yeah, your observation room here, Andrew, is now covered in this guy's brains.
I would be behind the dock, with the dock between Astrid and me, and I've got the taser. I've pulled it out and I'm holding the taser on the ready, but keeping, just kind of using the dock to block her sight.
Huh.
That I have this ready.
Okay. What the fuck just happened?
So I'm going to be shocked that they're standing there. So I'm going to drop the gun and turn toward them and say, that guy was standing up. He had gotten up. He was standing up. He was dead, Dr. Andy. He was dead. We did CPR for 20 minutes. There is no way that he survived that. We had him hooked up to all of the monitors.
And I'm looking at the scene and the time frame. Does there seem like there's any possible way she could have staged this?
While
or...
he's processing that, I will see my chance, especially when the gun hits the floor, to make my move and go around him and kick the gun away from her.
Okay. All right, so you go around him, kick the gun away from her because she dropped the gun. Andy, as you're looking at this situation, I mean, you don't see any way that, I mean, it's hard to believe that that guy was laying on the table when she shot him. And I mean, the spatter, I mean, it's like all over the wall. I mean, if he
And
shot
about head level,
right,
like where
right,
okay.
it doesn't,
Is there a bullet? Is there a bullet hole in the wall?
Maybe, I don't know. You gonna go look
I'm
for
gonna,
that?
yeah, I gotta look at this because I gotta make sense of it. Like he just can't believe even what he's seeing.
There is a
Okay.
bullet hole in the wall, roughly 5-6 feet in height.
All right. He just drops to his rear and just puts his head in his hands and is just trying to make sense of all of this that doesn't make sense. I mean, this person was 100% dead. There's no doubt in his mind they were dead. And it's not rabies. I mean, it's like like magical shit or something in his mind at this point. This isn't fucking science. This is like the fucking conspiracy theories that he'd read about on the fucking web, and like he's overwhelmed at this point. He's literally just sitting there. The body's probably 10 feet away, and he's just holding his head at this point, like trying to keep his shit together.
By the way, as you're sitting there and you got all this stuff going through your mind, and you see the fingers on the right hand of the body twitch.
Fuck! He just starts backing away from it, like yelling. It's fucking still moving! He gets up and like grabs the gun and just points at the freaking body.
Okay. You guys want to react to that?
Andy, get out of there so we can shut the door.
But it's moving.
It doesn't have a head. It can't bite us. Get out of there.
But it's just still going?
I don't know.
He kicks it. He fucking kicks it. Hard. Like, just fucking kicks it. Get up!
Nothing.
Fucking do something!
Astrid's going to go in there and kind of put a hand on Andy's shoulder and put her other hand around his arm and kind of lead him out of the room.
Okay, he doesn't fight, but he is stiff. I mean, he's you can tell, I mean, you've been in the ER, he's on the verge of losing his fucking shit.
Which is why the last place he needs to be is in with a twitchy dead body that we just blew the head off of. We're gonna sit him down in the waiting room. Get him that glass of apple juice that he should have had earlier.
Some juice. I'm feeling lightheaded.
Force him to drink the apple juice. Maybe get him a cookie.
I would say I don't notice the twitch, but I do see the doc flipping out. I'm gonna try and just put the I'm gonna put my hand on top of the gun and just kind of force it down. Before he gets let out. Say, easy, Doc. He's dead.
Yes, he was dead. Teresa, I fucking saw him moving. I saw it with my own eyes. She's right. This fucking Wildfire is like fucking biblical end of time shit.
And I'll put the taser away for now.
Okay.
And
all of a sudden his face, like you can see like a light bulb go off. And he looks at Astrid and he's like, okay, 100%. Is this gonna fucking happen to Rick?
Just
Honestly,
as you ask that question, you hear a crackling sound. Rick's radio. And over the radio, you hear, Rick, are you there?
Of all the money that I've had, I spent it in good company, and and all the harm that e'er I've done. Alas, it was to none but me. And all I've done for want of wit, to memory now I can't recall. So fill to me the parting glass. Good night and joy be with you all. And of all the comrades that e'er I've had, they are sorry for my going away. And all those sweethearts that e'er I've had, they wish me one more day to stay. But since it falls unto my lot that I should rise and you should not, I will gently rise and softly call, good night and joy be with you all. Good night and joy be with you